Welcome to Miss Martin Muses. Welcome to Miss Martin Muses, where we muse upon what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. Well, today I'm going to talk about something that makes me very sad, and it is the passing of Queen Elizabeth II. I think that this is a historical moment. I've already had a few little snarky comments from some people around today that are like, "This is where we fought a revolution, so we didn't have this." It's like, "Oh, come on. Don't be all like that." Of course, she is not my never will be, and neither any more than Charles is my king. Now, he is now the king, King Charles the Third, King Charles the Third. But I admire her. She's my whole life. It's just been her there, and she's the last of some of the greatest generation, the people that had balls. No pun intended with her. Obviously she was a lady, but her family, they stuck around in the palace during the Battle of Britain. She actually served in the military during World War II. And how can I say this? She was something else. She was something else. Okay, hello. Hello there, Shane Nolan. Hey, Teresa, the queen is dead. Long live the king. Yes, indeed. Long live the king. Jane Nolan says, I'm Irish and I expect admire her. Yes, I am not Irish technically, but it was so much a part of my childhood. I spent so much of my childhood there. Yes. And I do respect her. And I got to admit, after a while, started to respect the king or the current king, King Charles III, and maybe understand him a little bit better. I don't know, Shane, if you were around for this. I forget how old you are, but I was a very little girl in Ireland. Close enough. Thank you. When Princess Di got married and with all of that stuff that happened. Oh my gosh, was that something else? It was unbelievable. It was one of the biggest things ever. Everybody, everyone was watching that on TV. And that key moment when you saw Princess Diana walking out of the carriage in that gorgeous dress, just like Cinderella, just like the princess I always wanted to be. Oh, he says 41. Okay, so you were alive. I don't know if you're old enough to remember. I was very little. I won't say, well, I was 7. Okay, fine. Everyone knows how old I am now. I just turned 7 when that happened. It was huge. Also, did a lot of visits to London and visited the tower, visited the palaces. A great deal of my studies have been of the British monarchy. As a historian, especially in my studies on the Reformation, sometimes I call it the so called Reformation because it wasn't really a reform, it was a break. But I'm not going to start that fight today. And like it or not, I have an Anglo heritage. I have an Anglo heritage. It's part of who I am. The wedding, yes. Huge. It was huge. Yeah. When you see those crown jewels, I remember the first time I went to the tower and we were on a tour and I heard about those 2 boys in the tower who, disappeared and were most likely murdered. That freaked me out so bad. The idea that there would be these little boys that disappeared in the night, that wore the roses, all of that stuff. Said you studied the Reformation yourself. Yes. Yeah. And particularly the Reformation in England was so much different than the Reformation in Germany, for example. Say what you will about Martin Luther, he was coming at it from a religious perspective. The the way it started with Henry VIII, it was political. It was political. It was really mainly during the reign of Queen Elizabeth I that it really got nasty. Um, yeah, that's all I've got to say about that. But The history is entwined. The history is entwined. Yes, the boys. Yeah, those poor boys in the tower. I love the War of the Roses. You want to talk about something that's nuts, absolutely nuts. whole that whole war. It's even hard to call it a war. It was dynastic anarchy. It was insane. Yeah, definitely, and economic. Yeah, economic and because ultimately Henry VIII technically tried to make it that he wasn't even breaking away from the church. He was just saying, "I'm head of the church in England." And he, throughout his life, had no tolerance for Lutheran beliefs, Lutheranism, Protestantism, hated it, the the beliefs. If you'd have gone, say, to mass after Henry VIII broke away from the church and declared himself Church of England, in England rather, you would not have found it any different. Okay, Tommy, hello, thank you for being here. I don't have anything for the guinea pigs. I do apologize. Yes. So God save the queen. God save the queen. But the traditions that go along with the monarchy, and I was just looking at what's going to be occurring over the next few days. It's going to be pretty intense. The amount of ceremonies. There's going to be these official proclamations. I I don't believe they have announced a lying in state yet, but the period of mourning, I think she needs to be buried within the next 12 to 15 days, if I'm correct. But here's the thing about the Queen, Queen Elizabeth II. I said this earlier that she's part of the greatest generation. What this woman has lived through, what she has seen, it and how she has been able to bend with the times, if you will. I remember back during the Diana days, especially after the marriage went south, a lot of people sided with Diana and oh, their stuff, either this or that, and they're mean. But when you think about it, the Queen has been incredibly generous. She was that way with her sister. She was that way also with all of her children. Every single one of her children's marriages failed except for Edward's. Um, she was generous in even allowing Charles to get married to Camilla and then making the final very surprise declaration that Camilla will be the queen consort. Shane Nolan says, excuse me, there was a renewed War of the Roses History Channel documentary this questionable. New one. Yeah. Anything new historically is questionable because they have an agenda. They rewrite history. And even some of the new dramas have just been bad history. It just didn't happen. They're putting their agenda above what really happened. Uh, Tommy says Charles is going to be in over his head. I sure thought he would go first, honestly. I'm going to disagree with you on that. I'm going to disagree with you on that. I think actually Charles is going to do a fantastic job. I really do. Because he has not only been preparing for this from his youth, but also he weathered through all the different storms and the ups and the downs. Uh, and he's ready for this. It will not be a long reign, but at best, what, 20 years if he lives as long as his mother. Yeah, I think he's gonna do just fine. He's gonna do just fine. When you look at Charles, like for example, the way his sons are with him, especially Prince William, he's been a very good father to them, and I think he'll be a very good king. I really do. Hello, Timon. Hello. Yes, thank you, Timon. Oh my gosh. Some people were being total D dash 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 dashes uh, in, I believe, Argentina. I do not speak Spanish, but I can only imagine. It is Purple Valkyrie. Oh, hello, Purple Valkyrie. And that she is a resident Brit. She is a resident Brit. May I offer you my condolences on the passing of your monarch? I'd be curious to hear what you have to say about your new king. I'm curious. I've warmed up to Charles over the years. Though I'll say this: I'm an American, so I will I will move over, if you will. I will bow down to what a person who lives in Britain has to say about it because I don't know. I don't live there. And by the way, Purple, let me know if you want to come on. Love to hear from your point of view. See. Hey, Nolan, he's been preparing all his life. I was very surprised about Charles's remarriage, especially after her uncle Edward. Yes. Yeah, I thought it was never going to happen, but when you think about it, I think that the Queen acknowledged just kind of what was pretty apparent. Camilla was his one true love. And for various reasons, they couldn't get married back in when they probably should have gotten married. They probably all wish he had married her. It would have been, things might have been very different. But yeah, although Tommy says, I would like to think he would spend more time preparing his son. Yeah, maybe. Well, I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I mean, it's already happening already. It's already happening because um, even see now they are sharing their royal duties. They're sharing their royal duties. I think she was married then. Yeah, yes, she was. Yeah. Like I said, there were various obstacles. Yes, she was married. Would she have just, when they kind of reconnected, would they have gotten divorced and then married? I think quite possibly, but at the time it was completely out of the question. And I think an example of how the Queen has changed. The Queen has changed and evolved over the years. She has indeed. Um, Another example of how she changed and evolved. I mean, look at Megan, who, in my complete, humble, and angry opinion, is a piece of ungratefulness. I said something nicer than I expected to say. She was divorced, and she gave her full blessing to their marriage, as well as getting to get married in a public religious ceremony, which is what Charles and Camilla were not allowed to do. They got married in a civil wedding and then had a little blessing afterwards. She also changed the succession rules. Yes, she did. That's another thing, absolutely, because it made the girls equally in line as the boys in the family. I despise Megan. Yeah, very grateful. And here's my thing. I almost despise Harry more. How crappy does it have to be to go and publicly drag your family through the mud, knowing that your grandfather is at death's door, knowing they cannot respond? That is chicken sh blank blank. And the fact that they said all those bombshells and then wouldn't cash the checks. It's like, oh, who said those racist things? If you're going to call the family racist, who was it? Spit it out. No, they just said all these insinuations. It was really gross. And again, they welcomed that woman with open arms. I remember the wedding to Megan. It was just as much fun, if not more, than the one with Kate and William. Okay, Timon Flip says, Miss Smart Muses, they called her a shitty old lady to Satan. Oh my gosh. I'm not a fan of the British royalty, but I would never cheer someone's death. Yes, yes. That is completely unacceptable. And as I was saying, I have kind of an Irish so to Shane, but we're not dicks. And you can respect someone. I mean, and some of the issues I might have, it happened like 600 years ago. Come on. Queen Elizabeth was not um, around in the 1600s. Pulper Ah, thank you. From breaking news from Britain, our correspondent there. The country will enter 12 days of mourning before she is buried, and I believe Charles will be coronated as soon as possible. Yeah, sometimes there can be a huge old gap between the death and the coronation, but yeah, yes, thank you very much for that. And I believe Camilla will be crowned at the same time. Will be crowned at the same time. I hear that it's a little more scaled back, not as fancy as it something you might have seen back in the 50s. Yeah, shameful Harry. Yeah, we don't like him. Shane says his criticism of the First Amendment was unbelievable to me. Freedom of speech. Oh gosh, yeah. You see, that's what makes him a piece of crap. I mean, it's like, thank you. You want? Okay, I'm going to say this. I'm going to start stomping my feet. If I were to go to Britain and start spitting all over Britain and saying all sorts of things, that's very unseemly. It's not my country, okay? Unless they're committing like genocide, okay? Genocide, okay. But it's like, who the hell are you to sit here and tell us, you privileged, rich little piece of garbage? Jim says, Purple Valkyrie is Irish too. Family. Oh, well, mea culpa. I thought, oh, okay. Yeah, I don't want to dox anyone. I know your accent. Gino, and that's present part of the young leader is part of the WEF. Okay. Queen consort, yes. Timon says, will they print a new set of pounds? I believe so. I believe so. Yes. World Economic Forum. Oh, yes. Yeah. Right. Queen will become queen consort. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much for clarifying that. I just wasn't sure about if they were actually going to crown her publicly or not. But absolutely. Yes. Um, correct me if I'm wrong, people, and I know I keep saying that, especially all you British people out there. You all know what you're talking about more than I will. Okay, Purple Valkyrie. Thank you. Our British correspondent says, all currency will change. It will change. It will have himself on there. If you're going to be using currency anytime soon, will they use the young Charles or will they use the old Charles? Yes, the currency, correct. Okay. Yeah, so he's had our requisite. They are pieces of human garbage. Um, Prince Philip too. I mean, you want to talk about all of these people? They served in combat. I mean, they fought real Nazis back in the day. They didn't just sit around and go, "Yeah, you're Nazi if you don't like Lord of the Rings." It was a real thing. Yes, the currency. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So thank you. Yeah. Like I said, just DM me, Purple, if you're interested. Um, the big hair Charles. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's unfortunate that he would have that traditional hairstyle. I think if he'd have been able to have grown it long and covered it up, yeah, poor guy. Um, I did see that there's going to be some sort of declaration, like a formal one tomorrow, if it goes according to plan. That the prime minister will be there, the Lord Mayor, and then for the first time they're going to play and sing the national anthem with God Save the King for the first time in 50 years. Again, I'm really a fan of all of this tradition. I'm a fan of all this tradition. I'm a traditional girl. And I think I've said that even though, my heart is with Ireland, technically by blood, my people are, they come from England. They come around Wales. Also, I do have a verification by oral as well as DNA that around the year 900, someone in Scandinavia shagged one of my great 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 grandmothers. Okay, Matt Wilkins. Hello, Matt. It is so good to see you. I love your content. Wilkins, he has the best Star Wars content out there. He's been doing some rereads. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, Matt Wilkins says, "What sucks is I hear that Steve is now fifth in line to the crown. I can verify that is not true. That is absolutely not true. Well, if he were to be in line for the crown, it would be for the Norwegian crown. They actually have a monarchy, and they actually seem pretty cool. I like the monarchy, except one of them, I guess, is uh, into like angel talking or something. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I don't know. I don't know too much about their monarchy. Everyone's LOLing. That would make Stieg Sir Stieg. Yeah. Well, but technically, actually, we know. Okay, unless Stieg's been shagging someone or someone that Stieg knows has been shagging someone, a relative, then it wouldn't be possible. I don't think. He's not a defend himself, but I will. I will. I am loyal. Jacob Ironside, afternoon. Hello, thank you for being here. I'm saying hi to Matt. Yes, yes, I love that little um, comic he reviewed today. Yeah, so if one of my um, mods could throw in his link to his channel, I would definitely appreciate it. Hey, Timon's lit. Queen of Denmark is close friends with the Queen. Ah, there you go. Yeah, the Queen. Yeah, the Queen's not the weirdo. Yeah, the Queen's she's gorgeous too. She is so pretty, and seems like some good stuff. They even have a big old palace. Matt Wilkins says my ancestors are from Wales. And is that a joke that you're spelling it that way, or do you mean the other Wales? Ah, I don't think I'm giving away my docs when I say that the when we traced our DNA, the majority of our DNA is around North England, Wales. I think it's more than 60%. And then there's some Irish in there. So I do have some Irish DNA, and then Scandinavian. Simone says, "What Downton Abbey Stieg is royalty?" Yes, the truth has come out. The truth has come out. Yes. Oh wait, I'm talking to my thing here. I'm going to be sending out a link. I'm sure some people would be proud to say they have some Stieg in them. Oh my gosh, he needs to know that people love him. Yeah, what is he missing? Let's see. Let me get my invite here. Yes, we are going to have a foreign correspondent join us, and it's not Stieg. Da, 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 da. Dun, dun, dun. I was watching the Lord of the Rings TV show. Not the TV show. Oh my gosh. Kill me now. Not the TV show. The movie. The movie. And that music really gets me every single time. Okay, here we go. Edit, paste, send. There we are. Yeah, so I had to find my earphones. Sweet Purple. Yes, we love Purple Valkyrie here. She is amazing, and she has the accent. She'll be able to bring the accent because I uh, don't have it. Fellowship. Actually, I was watching Return of the King. I rewatched the whole trilogy. I was gonna do it on Friday, but everyone kept inviting me to live streams, so I had to. So I had to delay. Well, all the way from across the pond and from the future on the ground, it is the one, the only Purple Valkyrie. Welcome to Miss Martin Muses.
Hello, lovely. Thank you. Thank you for letting me join you for a little bit. Really appreciate it. And thank you. Thank you for doing this. Not a lot of people out there showing respect at the moment, as your chat correctly said.
Yes, it's really bad. Well, no, I actually you were one of the people I thought about because this is so much a part of your country, right?
It is absolutely, yeah, sad day for the country and for the Commonwealth, of course. But it's been a very strange day. We were watching, well, I was watching from quite early this morning when they were getting reports that she was very unwell and that the family had been advised to get to Balmoral as quickly as they possibly could. And that's generally very bad news, obviously, whenever the doctors say that to somebody's family. But yeah, sad to see her go. And I'm
Mm,
not particularly a royalist, but I think she is the end of an era, most definitely.
yes. Yeah, and I think that says it there. And obviously, I'm not a royalist. I'm not even close to being British, but you can respect somebody, especially someone that I think you can objectively say lived a good life.
Yes, absolutely. She's somebody who put duty above everything else, I think would be the best way to put it.
Hmm.
She became queen very young, and she's been queen for 70 years.
Hmm. Yeah, and I actually wasn't surprised that she died so quickly, if you will. It's very common when somebody's spouse dies, especially after you've been living
Yes.
together that long. Yeah.
Yes.
Though she also is pretty, I mean, she was 96 for crying out loud.
Oh yes, 96. It's a good innings, absolutely. And I think the last official thing that she did was on Tuesday, where she swore in the new prime minister that we have,
Hmm.
and she looked very frail then.
Yeah. She looked very frail, but I was struck by her big smile. I mean, how cute was she?
Yes, I've heard stories from people who got to meet her, and people that have worked with her for a long time and said that behind the scenes she was quite a character. Obviously,
Uh-huh.
she's very prim and proper and very very formal when she's the queen, but behind closed doors, apparently she was a little bit more friendly and more grandmother like.
Yeah. Well, exactly. And see, that's the other thing that used to drive me crazy is just because someone doesn't bear everything in public doesn't mean that they don't have souls. And it I can you imagine if Queen Elizabeth had done some of those interviews and public things that her children as well as her grandchildren have done?
Oh gosh, yes,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I just
Uh,
can't even imagine it.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad things that have happened, and people will point them out. Obviously,
Hmm.
that the royal family have done, whether you love them or hate them.
Hmm.
Obviously, I'm not going to talk about some of them, but you know who we mean, not just the immediate family, but yeah.
Well, yeah, and no one is perfect too. I mean, because I try to imagine my family, just the little things that go on in my family, and imagine if the whole planet was watching.
Oh gosh, yes. There's a lot to be said for keeping private things private and stoicism, definitely.
Yeah, and
And
just having
do you think
dignity.
that's who she was as a person, or do you think that's how she was raised?
Uh, I would suspect it was most likely how she was raised because her
Hmm.
generation, it was considered unseemly to air your dirty laundry in public. Um, and I don't know. And also I think because of who she is, she didn't have the luxury because technically she's the head of state, ceremonial, but head of
Hmm.
state. When you're in that role, you're not supposed to act like an idiot. Uh,
Yes, yes, absolutely. But I think she, as a matriarch and as the head of the family, she really set the standard for what she wanted the rest of them to follow. I think.
mhm.
No, you can argue that some of them didn't quite live up to that, or
Yeah.
but it was always good to see them, especially on the balcony, whenever there was really special events like the Jubilee, to see the entire
Mhm.
family together.
Mm. Yes, precisely. And I was genuinely moved when the the big 70 airplanes flew over, or whatever they did. So during that,
I was
and
as well. It was one of the few times that I can remember, at least recently, that the country kind of came together and everybody seemed very happy. Flying flags and people were saying "God save the Queen" and just
mhm,
celebrating a monarch.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, precisely. And I'll say God save the Queen. I mean, I know it means something different for you all, but yeah, I mean, like I wish somebody well, unlike that piece of human garbage that Timon was showing us. Saying bad things. Yeah, R.I.P. Queen Elizabeth. Yeah, because you wish someone well. Because at the end of the day, this was somebody's mother, grandmother, sister, um, all of that. So now, may I ask you, or great grandmother too? What's sentiment over there about King Charles?
Um, Honestly, I don't think he will ever be as popular as his mother or grandmother was. Charles is a little bit of an anomaly, to be honest. Now he is king. As soon as she died, it became instantaneous. He is her successor. All it needs to be is formally recognised, which will be the coronation. Um, but I think people have said it. He's got a long way to go to live up to what his mother did for the country and for the Commonwealth.
Yeah, no, well said. Yeah, and I mean, I remember uh, all that with Diana. Um, I mean, the whole thing was a big mess because it was like seeing a divorce happen in public, and seeing a marriage. We
Yes.
literally saw the marriage fall apart. Um, but yeah, okay, well that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he'll be as beloved as Queen Elizabeth, and he's going to have a shorter reign.
Yes, absolutely. And I know the chat was saying what happens next. Yeah, you were absolutely right. The currency will change. It'll change to Charles's profile, and that will start to roll out. As I said, there will be the 12 days of mourning. She will lie in state, and then in the meantime, she will be brought back to Buckingham Palace, and then be buried in Westminster Cathedral, I believe.
Um, oh, actually, she's not going to be buried in Westminster
No?
Cathedral. I did find that out
Okay.
because
Okay.
her husband is Prince Philip, and her parents and her sister they're married in King George's Chapel at Windsor.
Ah, okay.
So
So it'd
she's
be
going to be
Windsor. Okay. All right.
yeah. I only knew that though because that was where Philip was buried. I just remember being struck by that he wasn't in Westminster. Uh, but and then I googled it because that's what people do. So, um, how about Camilla? Do you think people are okay with her?
Um, People never really warmed up to Camilla. I think, as you correctly said, because the thing that happened with Diana was such a mess and such a controversy, it split pretty much the country, and people really never liked the decision that he made. Whenever someone of the royal family divorces and then remarries, it usually causes a lot of trouble. Obviously, it's happened in the past as well, and people never really kind of took to Camilla. She's accepted, but I would never say she's going to be beloved.
Mm-mm. Yeah, there's always going to be the ghost of Diana behind her.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. According to Shane Nolan, Windsor Castle is her favorite place. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think she loved Windsor. She loved Balmoral, which is obviously where she passed today.
Mhm.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sad. Do, are y'all going to get any holidays? Like, that's maybe holidays the wrong word for it. Like the day of the funeral, is there going to people not go
Yes,
to work,
usually
school?
usually for the day of the funeral, it will be like an official day of mourning. So pretty much everything non-essential will close for that day. Schools, shops, that sort of thing. Not sure what will happen in the lead up, but usually just for the funeral, I believe. It's been such a long time since we've had a monarch, obviously, who's passed. I remember the Queen Mother passing, and obviously remember the death of Diana. But with the reigning queen, it'll be slightly different.
Yeah. Yeah, someone put it in perspective. I was watching a news show, said that if you remember her ascension to the throne, you're probably 80 minimum. You have to be over
Hmm.
70 and old enough to remember. Um,
Yeah, for many people, she's the only queen. They've only ever known us to have a queen, and it's going to
yeah,
be a very long time before we have another one, because the line of succession will go Charles, then William, and then William's oldest son.
yeah. And he'll be what, George the Seventh, I
Yes,
believe.
yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm trying to figure out what will William be. I forget how many Williams y'all end up happening.
I would have to check. I know Charles will be Charles the third,
Hmm.
which but William, yeah, we've had a lot of Williams.
Yeah.
It's a popular name. What can I say?
Yeah, it's. I mean, you can't really get much more British than that. Some people were already saying it's like, well, dude, the first Charles was beheaded, and then the second one was a little bit known for his decadence during the Restoration. Um, okay. Oh, Steve's talking about his monarchy. I'm assuming. The last one we lost was in 1991. Yeah, we did mention. We talked a little bit about the Norwegian monarchy, Steve, because
Hmm.
everyone thinks you're since you live at Downton Abbey, that you're in succession to it. Yeah. Steek says the first prime minister she had was Churchill, then she passed away, and she had a.
Right, yeah, right there, Ruby Steak. Yes, yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'm so glad I don't have super chats yet because I would be obligated. But she had a soy. She had a soy twat. Oh, if only Princess Anne was going to be allowed to take the throne. She seemed pretty cool. Um, let's see.
She
At least from
was,
what
from everything, yeah, from what I've heard. Yeah.
I'm sure the decline weighed on her. Yes, and I think you said earlier also about Megan too. I mean, I saw, I saw, I saw a meme of someone saying like when Megan goes to pay her respects, and it was like an open coffin, and it showed like a prank someone had done where someone was lying in a coffin and then like grabbed someone by the throat.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah, that did make me laugh. I've got to admit.
Yeah, yeah. Sewell says no offense, but the real names are confusing to keep up with.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yes.
know because my mother was asking me today, "Who's that extra one?" I went, "Oh, that's Edward." She's like, "Which one is that?" I said, "It's the one that knew how to behave himself."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's the one who would ironically probably actually make a better king. Yes.
Yeah, he 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 met a he met a woman, fell in love, they got married, and they popped out a couple of kids, and we haven't heard from him since. um, Megan hates a monarchy, but kept the Duchess title. Yeah, and I think they wanted to even keep the Royal Highness one, but they
You
weren't
see
allowed
what
to do
they,
that.
yeah, they wanted to keep the security team as well, but didn't want to pay for it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I mean, yeah. Well, may I ask what is the sentiment about those two over there?
Um, I, I, I they're not popular. I think would be the best way to put it. People think that Harry is really well. He gave up obviously his line of succession because he didn't want to be part of it, and Meghan is not popular. She's seen as a gold digger.
Well, a- and talk about squandered goodwill. There was a time, especially around the wedding, where everyone loved her, and at least it seemed to me. Everyone's excited about the wedding and everything. Yeah, no.
Oh yes, yeah. People love a good royal wedding, and I remember it being on TV and watching it, and it was all the ceremony that they always do. But it was later on when people got to know her a little bit better, and she started to, especially when they did the interviews. I believe that was when the tide really started to turn against
Hmm.
both of them.
Yeah, yeah, that was bad. That was bad. Oh, Stieg bringing the Harry takes the strap, and if he divorces her, she will go on interviews talking about the strap. So he's
not
trapped.
not gonna kink shame, not gonna kink shame, but yep,
What they do in the privacy of their bed. Uh,
exactly.
oh gosh. Shane Nolan said, I did hear on the news that they will start fracking for oil in the UK.
That
Okay.
is correct as well. Yes, the limit has just passed, and they can now start fracking once more. A terrible idea, I always think, but yep, they are now free to do so.
Oh, well, you heard it here first. I think that's interesting, right? When King Charles, the environmentalist, comes to the throne. It's like, let's bring on the fracking, man. So I know he
So I'm not sure if I would class him as an environmentalist, more of a globalist, I think.
Yeah. Well, he's always talking about the environment, but
Yes, this is
just like
this
everyone
is
else.
true. It's always telling other people, yes, what we should
Uh,
be
uh,
doing.
yeah, while they're flying their private jets. Okay. Stieg is. I don't think Stieg is a fan of Harry. Okay. Harry bit the pillow and he swallowed his pride. Yeah.
Tell us how you really feel, Steve.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh boy. Well, as I was saying earlier, I've been following the royals my whole life. It's been a big thing. I was in the equivalent of second grade in Ireland when Princess Diana was married, and I've been over and seen all the royal stuff. I've studied it, but how much do you think the crown has informed people? Because it seems like that's where most people know their royal stuff. I mean, is that a big show over there?
It was actually. And I watched it. I thought it was a really good show. I thought bits of it were better than others, but history-wise, they really kind of did stick to what happened, and they didn't shy away from showing the more contentious things, I guess, that the royal family have done over the years, which I
Hmm.
thought was interesting. They really did. What happened? They tried to show it in a dramatized way, but yeah, it's always been a popular show. I didn't realize it was quite as popular with you guys, though.
Well, or how? Let me put it this way: it's popular with people like me that watch that stuff, but
Hmm.
but no, it's big. I mean, it won a bunch of Emmys and Golden Globes, and the aspects of that I liked is not only, as you said, did it talk about some of the darker side, but also some things that just is not on our radar because it was way back then, like things that happened in the 60s, particularly like that one episode where they did about that horrible coal disaster where
Hmm.
it's like the entire village lost like every single child. I mean, almost it was just horrible.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, basically the whole side of the mountain came down as a landslide and just took out the village and, as you say, the school. It was
Hmm.
horrific.
Yeah. So there were situations like that. Yeah. That I liked. That it informed us. Um, well, I mean, I'll be honest, I thought the woman was never gonna die. I mean, I thought she was gonna live forever because well, for one thing, her mother lived to like 103.
She don't. Yeah, they are a long-lived family. I did expect her to live to 100. I think had we not lost Philip earlier, I think she would be still with us. I think there's a lot to say, and I think it was said in the chat as well. Once you lose basically the love of your life and the person you've been married to for so many years, the remaining partner just kind of loses the will to live. And I think it was only her dedication to her country and her duty that kind of kept her going for as long as it did.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, Stig is saying here, Argentina had to go with the Queen's death. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Due to the Falklands conflict, I expect. Maybe.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Not
exactly.
the first time that they've done that.
Yeah, but it's like, come on, people, have a little bit of good taste.
Yeah.
Um,
But I always think it says more about the people who are saying horrible things than the person that they're saying it about. If your first
mhm,
thing to to come up with after somebody dies is to say something nasty, then well, what kind of person are you?
mhm, yeah. Unless it's someone that's name rhymes with Mittler. Yeah, come on, show some
Uh-huh.
respect. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
um. Oh gosh, Sneaking says the Falklands conflict wasn't that bad. It gave us dire straits brothers in arms.
Stig, look, there you go, silver lining. Well done.
Yeah, you see, he always brings love and joy and sunshine. Tommy says it's like Betty White dying. No one saw that coming. Well,
Hmm.
I think that I thought she was going to at least make it to 100, especially since she'd already done the darn interview. Bette
Yes, I did
Midler.
too.
Oh,
That was, yeah.
oh, yeah, that was terrible. Yeah, and that was terrible too, Steve. Yes, everyone's being terrible. Well, you see, this is what's called being terrible in good taste because I think the people he's being. Oh gosh. Um, let me think what else. I don't. So we got the currency. We were going to have the lying in state. They've already, of course, lowered the flags. I've been seeing on TV. People are all out gathering and.
Yes, the thing with the royal family is everything is very scriptured. It's very it's this would have been planned decades in advance when the inevitable happened. Obviously, a lot of people know that there was like a code for when the Queen passed, which is London Bridge is down. So the first person other than the family that would have known would have been the Prime Minister, and then it goes on to the BBC. Because the BBC are the British Broadcasting Corporation, they have to be the ones to break the news. No other television company could do it before they could, which is why I believe they already knew, because the banners had been changed to black and all of the presenters throughout the day were dressed in black as well.
Yeah. My mother had a theory. She told me that maybe she had actually died this morning,
Hmm.
uh, and they were just delaying the announcement. Um, except for the fact, though, they all wouldn't have rushed there to say. I'm assuming to say goodbye. So
Yes. When doctors say to a family, it's probably best if you get there as soon as possible, it's usually very bad news.
hmm yeah. Oh, Nick's here in the chat now. You're from one of the Commonwealths, unless I've really messed it up. My history. Australia is still. Is that still? Yeah,
Yes,
because you'll
yep,
still
it
have
is.
the
Yep.
British flag. Yeah.
Hmm.
I just realized I could have said something really ignorant. It's like we've not been a Commonwealth for years. Yeah. So, yeah, agreed. They knew. Yeah. Says this. Okay. Yeah. So, Seek says there was a rainbow above Buckingham Palace today. Did you see that? Oh no, I did not.
Yes, I did see that. Yes, very briefly, a rainbow came out because it had been raining. Yeah, it was. A lot of people will say it's symbolic, but it was pretty to see.
Yeah. I mean, maybe not. If it's anything like Ireland, there was like 1,000 rainbows a day because it rains all the time, and
Yeah,
then
it's been raining constantly for the past few days. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Wow. Um, though this is a very symbolic change for you all. Nothing's really going to change, if you will, like in Britain. It's not like the way it used to be where, the king could. No, I don't want to say it didn't mean something, but, it doesn't, like Charles isn't going to come and go, I declare myself emperor of the world.
No,
Oh,
and at one point people were thinking, well, perhaps he would not be king, he would actually abdicate, but I don't think he will. I think he will be king until he can no longer be king, and until he passes on and the line of succession continues. And so, Chilwell, good to see you. Says a double rainbow. Yes, yeah. And as I said, there's going to be a series of events that will happen. They're all very carefully choreographed. So things like um, Houses of Parliament will be recalled, and then the royal family will do kind of a tour of England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Charles will go to a lot of the major cities, and then he will make his first address as head of state. And throughout that time, flags will stay at half mast until the Queen is finally put to rest. But it's a huge event, and one that's, as I said, they've been planning for probably decades.
mhm. Yeah, I apologize for that. I actually had to. It was a very important phone call I had to take. Or did you catch that I wasn't there?
I did. I just
Oh, okay.
didn't want to keep talking in case you were back. So my apologies.
No, 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 absolutely. I'm like, you are a pro because you kept going, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. No, but everything you said, I caught the tail end. Absolutely. Gosh darn it! You see, this is why I wanted. I'm so happy you were able to make it today. Because you know this.
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for doing this. Because, like I say, lover or hater, I think it is important to talk about her because she really did stand for Britain, for the Commonwealth, and for duty.
Mhm. Yeah. And because of that phone call, I do have to go. But and you already started kind of going there. Is any more final words that you would like to say about our queen, the new king, the twats? I don't know.
I will reiterate what I said on Twitter that this is the end of an era. We're not going to have another monarch quite like her, and she will be missed. You know, whether or not you're a royalist, I think a lot of people could agree that she worked very hard at what she did, and she kept the country together. She was always a figurehead, whether or not the royal family don't actually have a lot of power anymore,
Mhm.
but it is still an institution, and it's something that people take a lot of comfort in. And the one thing that we don't need, especially at the moment, is a lot of upheaval.
Mhm.
But thank you for doing this, and thank you to the chat as well.
Okay, well, and thank you. Yeah, and I want to say thank you for the chat, everyone coming in. I wish I could stay longer, but it's actually a situation that I do need to take care of, and otherwise I wouldn't have answered the phone. But I'm so glad that you were available, both in the chat and then able to pop on.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, as you said, it's an end of an era. I think that she was a great lady. And as Shane says, they don't make them like they used to.
Yes.
Uh, Absolutely. They were made of the right stuff. Steek says she was an awesome queen. All who deny that are my foes. Let no man or woman claim ignorance as a defense. Thank you, Stannis Baratheon. Yes.
Well said.
Yeah, she did her duty till the end. What more can anyone ask of a person? She allowed dragons absolutely own LOL. Yeah,
Mm.
people that know Stannis Baratheon. Okay, well, I'm. Um. Oh.
Oh yes, yes, absolutely. We will do that, Steve. Yes, I would love to do that.
All right. Oh gosh. Well, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, Purple, and have a great day, everyone. Have a great day, and be certain to raise a glass to Queen Elizabeth II. May she rest in peace.
Absolutely. Rest in peace.